We have everybody in the meeting now. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're really happy to have you here. My name is Fatima, as you may know me. I work with RTS7 as Learning and Development Coordinator. Today's session is all about sustainable tourism and sustainable tourism, and we're thrilled to be joined by William Hogg from GreenStep, who will be walking us through what the pledge is, how it works, how tourism businesses can get started in a practical and achievable way. And this is a great opportunity for everyone who's here to ask any questions, explore how sustainability can support both your business goals and your community impact. We have time for question and answers at the end. With that, I'll hand it over to William. Thank you so much for being here with us today, and we look forward to asking you a lot of questions today.
Awesome. Thanks, Fatima, and thanks everyone for coming in for this lunch and learn. So today we're going to be talking about Green Step Sustainable Tourism 2030 Pledge, which is a free program that we run, and it's an easy way for folks in the tourism sector to start their sustainable tourism journeys. So we're going to start off with a quick poll, warm you guys up before we dive into the heart of the discussion. You guys pretty much probably all know Squirrel by now, but not Squirrel, Slido by now. But how much do you know about sustainability in tourism? Are you a pro? Are you working on it? Do you know a little bit about sustainability, but got lots to learn still? Or what the heck does sustainability mean? I run this poll across the country like 3 or 4 times a month, so I always like to compare stats. Couple more seconds. Great. Okay, so like I like to see that there's no pros here, so this is going to be a very useful presentation for you today. But a lot of you already have started working on it, which is also a really good indicator about the role that RTO7 has been playing in pushing out this sustainability in tourism in your regions. Awesome. Quick reminder for folks, what does sustainable tourism mean? Back about 30 years ago, UN Tourism and some different partners came together to define sustainable tourism as tourism that takes full account of its current and future economic, social, and environmental impacts, addressing the needs of visitors, the industry, the environment, and host communities. So this is a holistic approach to tourism. It's no longer just about heads and beds. We're just as concerned about community impacts, environmental impacts, HR impacts. When we talk about tourism under a sustainable tourism approach. Very much more holistic than what we were pretty much used to back in the 80s, 90s, and even the early 2000s. Why is it important to move towards a more sustainable tourism? I always talk about 6 different challenges or reasons why we want to be doing this. So the first off, climate crisis we are in right now is caused by greenhouse gas emissions. Second, we have labor and engagement challenges. Third, we have increased guest demand for sustainability. I've got slides covering these in a sec. Fourth is our rising operational costs. Fifth, we have changing legislative, regulatory, and fiscal requirements, which is pretty much one of the biggest reasons why we're moving towards sustainability today. And then finally, we have that whole desire to do better. So, first off, yes, we are in a climate crisis caused by greenhouse gas emissions. I usually tell folks that they can leave the webinars that I host if they don't believe in that and move to the US if you feel like it. And tourism is responsible for a good 8 to 10% of world greenhouse gas emissions. Again, a lot of that is on the transport side of things. A lot of these long haul flights are causing a good chunk of that. But in order for the industry to adapt to the need to reduce these emissions, we also have to focus on that other 50%, which is what you guys do, your lodging, your services, your food and beverage, the goods that you use to run your businesses. All of these we have to sort of tackle to be able to reduce our overall impacts. Second argument is that we know that in the tourism sector, we have human resource challenges. Either attracting or retaining staff is very difficult, but as studies have shown, businesses that integrate sustainability into their operations have a higher chance of not only hiring qualified and engaged staff, but retaining them over time. We see these from different reports from Deloitte or PwC. And I've seen it on the ground in different businesses across Canada where they've been able to build these amazing teams and engage staff because of their sustainability initiatives. The third argument, sustainability is now driving consumer choice in tourism. So, based on different studies by different survey organizations, we're seeing anywhere between 70 to 80 to 90% of consumers that are looking for more sustainable experiences when they travel. And the good news here is that consumers are also willing to spend a significantly more amount of their dollars for these sustainable experiences, up to 10 to 12% more for sustainability. So it's a business case for developing sustainability within your operations. You're going to get more visitors and they're going to pay more, which is really good news. Fourth argument is that energy and other resource inputs are rising in cost. And for businesses, whether they're SMEs or larger tourism businesses like a major hotel chain, finding efficiencies and investing in reducing these inputs over time will mean lower operating costs. And we're seeing that green tech is becoming much more affordable, and the ROI on investing in sustainability, the timeline is reducing fast. So, and I just want to talk about a little bit of an example from my previous job when I was working at a DMO here in Quebec. We ran our exhibition center. We found out that we were emitting 150 tons of GHGs a year because we were heating it with natural gas. We worked on a study with our local university here, and they came back and told us that if we installed three heat capture wheels on the roof for a cost of $100,000, we would reduce our natural gas requirements by $30,000 a year, so pay off in about 3.5 years, and we would reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 70%. So pretty amazing example of how investing in green tech will and overall sustainability will reduce your operating costs while helping to save the planet. The fifth argument is around that regulatory, fiscal, and legislative changes taking place, especially here in Canada. So we're seeing more and more that private RFPs for tourism events are starting to integrate sustainability or ESG environmental, social, and governance criteria into their rankings. So that means that if you want to attract business clients, they're asking you, what are you doing in sustainability? From a federal, provincial, or municipal level, we're starting to see those criteria are also integrated into um, applications for grants, let's say through FedDev. They're starting to ask a lot of questions around sustainability. And so, in order to gain access to these, you're going to have to look at making sure that you have sustainability initiatives in place in order to potentially win these grants or loans. We're also seeing from financial institutions, we're starting to see lending terms change based upon your sustainability initiatives. And a really good example I have here is we have a chocolate maker in the Gaspé Peninsula here in Quebec, who told me last year that Desjardins gave her better lending terms because she was certified. So that's pretty cool that banks are now looking at your sustainability and providing incentives for businesses to adopt sustainability initiatives. Um, Kim, I don't know if you want to jump here and talk a little bit about what RTO7 is doing at this stage as well.
Sure, yeah, that's great. I think most of you are on the call because you are a partner with RTO7, and as part of our application process last year, we really wanted to move the bar forward on sustainability initiatives. And so RTO7 as an organization took on the task in 2023 of certifying our whole destination. So we are GreenStep Silver certified. That doesn't mean that we are, we're good and we can kind of wipe our hands, but this is a continual journey. And as part of our commitment towards sustainability, we want to support our businesses and our operators and our municipalities to move forward on their sustainability journeys as well. So one of the one we had asked a number of different questions if you were willing to participate in a number of sustainability initiatives on our applications last year. So we asked if you were providing or would provide visit responsibly messaging. So we have a really great toolkit that talks about our 7 key principles when it comes to visiting responsibly. We asked you to fill out a survey to understand what is the health of our businesses and our tourism industry within the region. We asked if you would provide your employee turnover rate so we can understand a little bit more about the workforce. Are you retaining staff? Are you not retaining staff? Can we support that through other workforce initiatives? And then finally, we asked if you would sign on to the 2030 GreenStep Pledge. So this not only is an initiative that RTO7 has taken on, but we've followed the lead of TIA, the Tourism Industry Association of Ontario. And actually, Destination Ontario has recently signed the GreenStep Pledge and certified their business as well. So, signing the pledge was one of the pieces that we asked if you would be willing to do that to show your commitment towards sustainability. So today we wanted to create this lunch and learn so you had a better understanding of what does that actually mean besides just, yep, we'll put our name on a list to show our commitment. But there are a few actionable items that we are looking that you would be required to do in order to start on your sustainability initiatives as well. So, it's not a requirement, but it's something that we're asking you to do. And by no means is this the only way that you can show your sustainability commitment. We're open to all sorts of different options and opportunities to put that forward. So not just through GreenStep, but there are many other certification bodies or actions that you can take in order to share your sustainability commitment to your consumers.
Great, thanks, Kim. And just to reiterate this, and I've told this to Kim in the past, it's not just Ontario that's looking at, tying sustainability to tourism. Like regional tourism associations across Canada are looking at how they can better get their businesses to engage in a sustainability journey, whether it's through a free program like the Pledge, or whether it's through training programs or getting certified, things like that. But Kim, I do have to say though, you guys are the model that I use a lot when I talk to RTOs across Canada. So, good
Thank
work for
you.
you guys.
We're working on it.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, and then the last portion of this fifth argument here, of course, is changing legislative requirements. So I've run a couple of different webinars via TIO and sent out information to Ontario. The impacts of Bill C-59, which is our new Canadian anti-greenwashing legislation, will have an impact upon the tourism sector in the sense that, yes, we're doing lots of great sustainability work and we're trying to communicate this to our stakeholders, whether it's the visitors, the staff, your suppliers, your boards of directors, things like that. But Bill C-59 now frames that communications in a specific way in the sense that you now have to back up any green claims that you make with at least some pretty good tangible evidence. So that means you have to now stop well, I'm not saying you guys probably were doing this in the past, but you have to avoid greenwashing because now there can be some significant reputational and financial impacts for people talking about sustainability when they're in fact not really doing sustainability. The same is going to be happening with the European Union as well. They're bringing in legislation against greenwashing, and that'll have an impact upon Canadians because, as we know, we like to invite our European friends and allies, because we can now call them allies, to come over and visit Canada for its great outdoor spaces and great tourism experiences. But they're going to have the same type of legislation in place where if a business is greenwashing around what they're doing on sustainability, this new EU legislation can be applied in Canada. If you're marketing to European tourists to drive them to your business and you are greenwashing, you can get a fine from the European Commission. So it's just another reason why we have to be very careful around communications as we start legislating it more and more. And then, of course, we have our sixth argument, which is we all want to do our part to help save the planet. Now, this leads us to a discussion around the Sustainable Tourism 2030 Pledge. This is a program that GreenStep launched back in 2021. Started off with the Tourism Industry Association of Canada, but we've been working very closely with TAIO to push this pledge out across Ontario. Fits very closely with the new TAIO strategy as well, with one of the pillars being around sustainability and providing operators with tangible ways of moving sustainability forward. This is also the pledge is also a great way for you to get through what we call our GreenStep sustainability framework, which is we're trying to get all of our businesses and destinations across the country through this framework by getting them to be able to learn and start to measure their performance, then start maybe planning and acting around sustainability, and then implementing some sustainability tools within their businesses, learning on how to report around sustainability, then advancing and celebrating their sustainability work through things like certifications and winning awards. We saw Thrive win the TAIO and TIAC Sustainability Awards. Thrive Tours out of Sault Ste. Marie. They're doing a great way of celebrating their sustainability that way, and then making sure that you're repeating this on an annual cycle. But today, really, we're at that first stage where we're starting to look at learning and measuring your sustainability. So for me personally, I see the pledge as doing three things. First off, the pledge is a great way for you to imagine a sustainable future for your tourism business. So when you're designing your pledge, because you do have to design a pledge, you have to make a public statement to complete the pledge process. You have to go around a visioning exercise where you want to look at where you want your business to be in 2030. And so imagine what people are saying about you in 2030. Are you the most advanced on carbon reduction, or are you the best promoter of your local cultural traditions, or do you have the highest percentage of local producers in your stores, or things like that? Different ways that you can envisage where you want your business to be in 2030. Um, and again, whenever I talk about visioning in sustainability is a choose your own adventure. You want to choose actions and things you want to do between now and 2030 that fit your vision. And you don't want to implement things that you're not going to be able to complete. And the core ingredients here in that vision is a mix of realism. You want to make sure that what you do push out there is achievable over a 5-year period, let's say. But you also want to make sure that it is passionate, that it's going to drive your desire to do sustainability. So I have another question for you guys. What impassions you most about sustainability? So there are four broad pillars in sustainability. We have the management side of things, We have the socioeconomic impact side of things. We have the natural and cultural interaction side of things. And we have the environmental side of things. So, what passions you the most about sustainability? We have one nerd who likes action plans. That's great.
I feel like there's nothing wrong with a good action plan.
Yeah, I love me a good action plan. I'm all about the management side of things. Great. So I like the focus here on nature and culture. There's tons of great things that you can talk about nature and culture and sustainability. We're going to look at them in a couple of slides. But when you're choosing what you want to focus on, I love how I love and don't love the fact that there's no focus on environment, but everybody sort of has to understand that sustainability is not just about environment. And I like the fact that the focus is beyond the environmental side of things as well. Um, so like I said, the first reason to do the pledge is about visioning, how to develop a vision for your business over a 5-year period. The ST 2030 pledge is also a way for you to measure your sustainability. So when you complete the pledge, you will get access to our online assessment platform, which helps you to establish your sustainability score. So when you get access to this platform, you're going to go through, we have 87 questions. There's about 260 multiple choices to answer in that question, in those 87 questions. But once you're done filling it out, you're going to get a really nice self evaluation of where you stand on sustainability within the 4 different pillars of management, those socioeconomic impacts, natural and cultural interactions, and then the environmental impacts. And trick of the trade here, as you're going through the questions and you're answering either positively or negatively, whenever you cannot answer a question positively, pull it out and throw it in an action plan. Start creating your own in-house action plan where you know what you're doing well, but this questionnaire is going to help you figure out where you're not doing things well. Slide it over into your action plan, and then start building some actions around that. So I've talked about the 4 different pillars. So as you're going through the online assessment, you're going to see that there's sections on management, socioeconomic, natural, cultural, and environmental. What do we mean by management? Do you have an effective sustainability planning and management structure in place? So here we're looking at things like, do you have an action plan, a vision, a strategy? Do you have policies in place? Are you engaging your employees in your sustainability journeys? Do you have a sustainability team? Are you engaging your visitors? Are you communicating directly to your visitors around your sustainability? Are you engaging them in sustainability actions while they're visiting your experience or your hotel or your restaurant? And then finally, here we're looking at things around marketing and communications. Are you doing sustainable marketing and communications? When we talk about the socioeconomic aspects of sustainability, we want to look at things such as, are you supporting social development in your community? Are you giving back to your community? Are you doing volunteering? Are you making donations? Are you providing your staff with training around sustainability, which is really important to make sure that, to keep your staff engaged, they need to have the tools at their disposal to be able to implement sustainability within the business. Are you making sustainable purchasing policy choices? Are you buying local? Are you pushing your suppliers to adopt sustainability practices in their own work as well? And then finally, are you an accessible experience or installation? Are you making sure that people with different challenges can access your experiences? On the natural and cultural side of things, here we're looking at protecting cultural heritage, artifacts, and living cultures. Are you managing these interactions on the natural and cultural side of things so that they are not harmful to the natural and cultural realities of your area? Are you making sure that your interpretation and education is authentic? Whether it's making sure that you're authentically talking about a local historical event or figure, or are you working with your local Indigenous communities to make sure that if you are talking about Indigenous culture and heritage, that you're doing this in a respectful way? And then do you bring in local guides, arts and crafts producers, and things like that? And then finally, on the environment side, here we're talking really about energy, waste, water, and carbon. Are you managing these and are you trying to reduce the harmful impacts um, around, uh, around those four variables? All right, and then the third reason why the ST Pledge is great is that it's part of sustainable storytelling. So last poll, do you already talk about sustainability? And here you can choose multiple channels. Are you talking about it on your website? Are you talking about it on site, on your physical location? Are you talking about it in your social media, or you're not quite there yet? Great. So it looks like everybody's already talking about sustainability. That's great to see. Had lots of other parts of the country respond, not yet quite frequently. So it's good to see that you guys are already doing a good job focusing on sustainable communications and talking about how your business is doing good work. By publishing something on your website for the pledge, you're starting your sustainable communications journey. And here I just really want to talk about the importance of talking about sustainability in your social media, on your website, on site, and the importance of avoiding both what we call greenwashing and green hushing. So as we've seen, the business case for sustainability is very strong, but businesses are also very fearful of talking about sustainability and the actions that are taking, and that's green hushing, the fear of talking about sustainability because of the risk of greenwashing claims. So with all that new legislation coming down around that, we want to make sure that businesses are speaking about sustainability in the right way. And what's great about the pledge is that the pledge process, we actually have folks at GreenStep that will go through your pledge before it gets published, just to make sure that what you're saying in your pledge makes sense, is authentic, is truthful, isn't leaning towards greenwashing. So this helps you overcome what I call the catch. And the catch is while businesses are kind of scared to talk about green initiatives or sustainability, in order to gain access to funding when your RFPs attract clients and staff, you actually need to talk about sustainability and do sustainability. I mean, RTO7 is hoping that you're going to do this because it's a great way to promote your initiatives, but also promote the sustainability of the region. So quick couple of communications tips and tricks when you're prepping your pledge. Make sure that you're honest and transparent. And if you're going to be making some claims in your pledge, make sure that you can back it up with evidence. Okay. First, very key thing with C59 is the evidence requirements when you're talking about sustainability. The second tip is to avoid vague or irrelevant claims such as being eco-friendly or green or sustainable. Instead of saying that you are a sustainable business, make sure that you say instead that you are a business that is working on its sustainability and improving over time, with the goal of achieving X, Y, and Z. When you're going to be developing this, also be authentic. Think about sustainability as part of your storytelling. It's a story for your visitors, but also your stakeholders. And I always say, talk about both your successes and your failures. So if you're doing really good on, say, think something like waste management, but you're having a really hard time with sustainable purchasing policies, we'll talk about it. Tell folks what your challenges are. And why I say that is that if you're saying that you're having difficulty with sustainability, nobody can say that you're greenwashing. Best way to overcome it is to be honest and transparent. Okay, so given those three good reasons why you should do the pledge, here is the actual process itself. So I'm going to share the deck with the RTO7 team after the meeting's done, and they can share it with the participants. But it's very important that you understand that there's a process to it because I've had lots of folks from RTO7 sign up, but I don't think they know that the process has multiple stages. So, one of the big benefits here, of course, with the Sustainable Tourism 2030 pledge as well, is that GreenStep will make a $5 donation to the Indigenous Tourism Destination Fund via ITAC for every completed pledge. So you guys are making a direct contribution to Indigenous tourism development across Canada by participating in the pledge, which I really like. That's kind of cool. So how the Sustainable Tourism Pledge works is that there are multiple steps. First off, you go on to the ST 2030 website, you sign up for the pledge process. The second step then is that you must make a public commitment to measure your sustainability performance and improve it over time. And it has to be published somewhere, whether it's on your social media, whether it's on your website, but it has to be published somewhere. So Kim and the team from RTO7, I probably got about 15 or 20 sign ups, but I've only had maybe two or three finish the process. So that's maybe something that we can communicate out later. Um, Once that process is done, the GreenStep team will review your pledge, confirm everything's good. Then you gain access to our GreenStep Sustainable Tourism Assessment tool. We're also going to publish you on our Sustainable Tourism 2030 web page, and you get a nice snapshot in our newsletter that goes out on a monthly basis. So it's a little bit of free communications around this as well. Here's the link to the pledge page. There is a pledge guide that you'll find there as well with some best practices around developing a pledge. On our signatories page, you're going to see that there's amazing examples from around the world of people who have signed the pledge. You can inspire yourself looking at what others have done, plus the sign up form. And just as a reminder, until you have published and submitted your pledge on your website, the process is not complete. So, another reminder. And there you go. That is my webinar on the pledge. Are there any?
I just wanted to say, if you are looking for examples of the pledge and what that might look like, when you go to the signatory page, and I just put the link in the chat, you can click on any of the people who have signed it, and it takes you to their pledge page. And so you can have there are, wide varieties of different pledges that we've seen. I really do thank everyone who has participated in the program from our region and completed the pledge process. I think that just, you're one step closer to you're on your way. You're on your way. So I don't know if this is a journey that ever ends, but you're on your way, and we're here as an organization to support you where you're at on your journey.
And really, again, a trick is take that assessment questionnaire and use it as a baseline action plan. And it's a free tool. No charge to you guys whatsoever. You're making a $5 donation to ITAC for their ITDF. It's really a win-win for everybody. Plus, you get some free communications from GreenStep, and I'm sure Kim will push out that you guys are all signed up to in her communications as well. So.
Hmm. I'm gonna leave that to Robin. She'll put that in the newsletter. We wanted to do this as an example. Fatima is here also to help you. So if you have questions as you work through the process, Will's amazing too. And if you need contact, and the whole team at GreenStep has really been really supportive of our journey. We have some really great examples of people within the region who've done this. I see Krista's on here. Scandinav has signed the pledge, which is fantastic. We're hoping to build a community of sustainable businesses or people who are working on their sustainability journeys as well. So don't be afraid to reach out if you have questions. There's no wrong questions. There's no wrong place to start. The most important thing that I've learned as we're going through this journey is to start. And the first step is always the hardest. But we're here to support you as you make that way, as you make your way forward.
I had a meeting with Brendan early this week and talked about how your snow resorts have been such good examples as well. They went through a cohort last year, and part of the cohort was getting the pledge done. So there's some nice pledges from some of your snow resorts in the area as well.
Yeah, and to that point too, that was I don't know if many people know, that was a program that we worked on with the Ontario Snow Resort Association. And we had 10 different snow resorts in Ontario. We're doing a second cohort to walk through the assessment and the pathways. It'll be pathways now piece. You don't have to go down there, but the self-assessment is a really good starting place. And if anyone is interested in learning more, whether it's through the Green Step Masterclass or joining a cohort, please reach out to us and we'll help to facilitate that journey for you. Are there any other questions? I know we had said 30 minutes, so we're a
I've got a
little.
quick dumb question. Done the pledge, have posted on our website. I promised William I'm going to do this assessment. Where do I find this assessment, by the way, on your website? I took a quick scan after our call. I didn't see
It,
it.
I may have sent it to you. If
Okay.
I haven't, I'll check in my email. I'm pretty sure I did, but
I'm sure you did, and I'm sure once I signed the pledge, it said now do the
yeah,
assessment. I've
yeah.
since lost
I
that
think
email. So,
yeah, because it comes under my name.
okay.
So just look for my name. It's an
Okay.
automatic. It's not, I didn't send it to you. It's an automatic thing. But yes, you should have the link in there. So
Okay. Cool. Cool.
yeah.
Thank you.
William, there's just a question in the chat from Alana. How do you suggest municipalities approach this process? I know our culture and tourism division is very interested in pursuing this, but I don't know if we can speak for the municipality as a whole. Great question.
It's a great question. A couple of municipalities here in Quebec that I've worked around this on. It's really like it's if they have the capacity to do this, to speak in their own names with the permission of the municipality, of course. But if you are operating tourism infrastructure or if you're doing tourism development, then this fully fits. You just need to get the municipality's permission to make the public statement. So I guess Brandon, you did that. And like Tourism Bromo here had to go through the town council. They had to get the pledge approved by town council. So it depends on your municipal structure and what permissions you need.
I mean, I think if you're going to get municipal approval from council, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any other questions? Well, this has been terrific. Thank you very
Great.
much. If anyone needs anything, Robin, Fatima, and myself are available, as well as anyone else from the RTO7 team. We're happy to put you in touch with anyone who's kind of been on the journey so that, you can kind of compare notes or, ask questions from their perspective if they're within the, a more similar industry to you than an RTO or a DMO perspective. So yeah, we're really excited and thank you for coming and we're here to help. So enjoy the snowy weather.
Uh, Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, William.
Thank you guys.
Take care.